How many do we need for a quorum?
Well, we don't have one.
Okay.
I believe it's
It's
five.
at least five.
Yeah.
Right.
One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, we need five.
That makes it easier.
Five is the number for this.
Okay, we should be live now.
Well, we can't really go approve any minutes. You want to give us a crash report?
Well, so Tim Strosheim with the Area Plan Commission, I would, as we start this meeting off, just as a request, if when you guys speak, if you could identify who you are, that will really help for our meeting minutes that we do later. So I would like to make that request. As far as the minutes from the past couple of meetings, so this will not be an official meeting, of course. So at our next quarterly meeting, we will bring the minutes back for official approval. But other than that, I think we will be ready to go on to the rural long-range transportation plan. So Aria, I believe you have the first item there.
Okay. So, basically the rural long-range transportation plan we're putting together for Carroll County. It will be Carroll County's first rural long-range transportation plan to kind of help guide, you know, transportation in the long term for the county out to what, 2050, I think is the goal year. So to plan for how transportation needs in the county will change, we need to have some data so that we know what exists, what might exist in 2050, and then we can make our plans based on those projections. So I'm putting together a bunch of demographic data based on what is currently here. So you can see here at the top, there's all these fields. This is the existing data that for each demographic in Carroll County. So we have data such as elderly population, persons with disabilities, persons who are veterans, persons living in poverty, total employers, total positions, number of households, all sorts of data here. We have broken down by census tract. The tract numbers are over here. Delphi is, I think, 95, I think is the tract for Delphi. So the numbers are going to be, you know, distinct for each one. For example, the population that is elderly in Delphi is very high here, 32%. Maybe it was 96 is Delphi. One of these two anyway. The other one was the, Monticello tract. So this is all the base year data. We'll be using the new decennial census, the 2020 census data for this, which we're still collating here. The data you see on the screen is actually ACS, American Community Survey data, projected from 2015. So this is a little bit older. We'll be using newer data. And we'll be basically applying the growth rates to this data so that we can get some projections out to different years. So here, for example, you can see I have each tract broken down and then the growth per 5-year increment for each demographic with this example growth rate here. So we'll just project out the data, see what it looks like in the target year of 2050. And for this plan specifically, we won't actually be using a flat growth rate because we know some of the upcoming plans for Carroll County, some of the new developments that are coming in, hopefully in the next 5-10 years. We can actually include preemptively some of the growth that's expected for those developments. So I can put in some custom growth rates for particular years to accommodate for known quantities of growth that will be happening soon. And we can do that again by tract. So, okay, 9-6 was the Dayton tract. Delphi, same thing. There's a lot of D-named towns here. Okay, look. Anyway, so I guess that's that. I guess I should mention, census is one data source. We do have other data sources as well, such as BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics data, and some of the employment data we get from a company that INDOT buys data from for the employment data. So we can break this down by all sorts of, I guess I don't have it here, but the employment data, basically, I can break it down by NAICS industry codes. So we could do, all manufacturing jobs or all agricultural jobs, etc., to break this data down further if we need or desire that kind of resolution on this data. So we can look at, agriculture or manufacturing if we want to, break out Indiana Packers or whatever. So that's the data. I think that's all I have to say about it for now.
Thank you, Aria.
Yeah.
So again, Tim Stroshine with Area Plan. So just one other thing to add about that is this is very similar to the process we follow when we're developing the plan for Tippecanoe County. We use some of these same data sources, kind of follow the same methodology. So once we kind of do get the census data that comes in, we are going to be meeting with you guys to talk about, what growth rates we want for each year per tract. So that's going to be something we're going to want to get your local expertise on, certainly, as well as where we think some other growth might occur in 2050. And then we'll use that to put together, as well as some other things, to put together a project list of projects you would like to see. So that can include, new routes, so new construction. It can include things like widening of roads. We can do maintenance projects in there if you want. That's something that we don't tend to do as much in our long-range plan, but if that's valuable to this community, we're certainly happy to do that. So that's kind of where we're headed with some of this.
I'm already covering maintenance through the pavement asset management plan that we have to do for getting any NDOT funding.
Right, absolutely. Yes, thank you, Kent, for pointing that out.
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, so anyway, we can kind of tailor that a little bit to whatever would work best for you guys up here. We don't have to follow the same way we do it in Tippecanoe County. Just kind of using that as an example of what we've done in the past. We can, again, take it and adapt it. So with that kind of gets into our next point, which is the public participation survey. So this is something that we had also talked about at the separate meeting that we held. And I sent around kind of a rough draft of that. Got some good suggestions for changes from you guys. And then I sent around the changes, or the new version of it with the changes implemented. So I think it's ready to go out now. Okay. So then the next question about this would be, how do we want to disseminate that? Do you want me to send it to you guys to send it out, or do we want to partner with some other organizations here in Carroll County to get this distributed, or what do you guys think is the best method for this? So I'll open the floor at this time for suggestions.
What's the format we're sending out again? Is it mail or email, or what was the format of the Cameron News with Carroll County Area Plan?
Yes. Yeah, good question, Cameron. So what we're doing is we have a link so that way when we get responses to it, I can run some analysis on it. Okay. And kind of do some prioritization with it. So we had discussed sending out something with the utility bills and saying, hey, here's what we're doing with this survey. We would like you to take it. Here's the link you can go to, on your phone, computer, whatever device, and then kind of just do sort of an advertisement of sorts.
There'll be different utilities depending on where you're living.
Right, that's where. Is the goal to get it to all county citizens, or is?
Yeah, well, the higher response rate we can get, the better. Okay. As far as, how we do that, there's no right or wrong answer. So when we did this in Tippecanoe County, we got just about 600 respondents total for this, a very similar type of survey that we did there. And we just kind of advertised it, through the local media, through some groups that we have that kind of meet locally, and they shared it on their social media platforms. We shared it on our social media platforms. We used our Citizens Participation Committee. Some members of that committee are affiliated with some of these community groups, and they also just volunteered to take it themselves. So that was kind of the way that we did it. But again, you know, whatever methods of getting the word out that you guys think would work best here, we're happy to adapt it.
We don't have a lot of those committees that you just mentioned for Carroll County, so I don't know.
Yeah, other than the commissioners meeting or the council meeting.
Get into Beth Meyer, or auditor for commissioner
Yeah.
meetings, council meetings, and the county foreman, and maybe if we was to put it in our local newspaper, I don't know that that link would do. I mean, it's easier for them just to click on it, obviously, and then open it up. I don't know that the link in the paper would be beneficial, but it might not hurt. Or, yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one for.
Probably gonna get your biggest response in the Delphi area.
Yeah, I think the city could put it on our monthly water bills or utility bill that goes out. I'm not sure what Mayor Whirling thinks of that, but I think she did mention that in our previous meeting. So that would be, because that goes to everybody in the city, obviously. So, yeah,
Okay.
I have to think on that one.
Yeah, well, so I think maybe then the best approach would be for APC to go ahead and send that out to you guys after this meeting, and then we can kind of put our heads together and see, you know, not only what you guys think, but also what the administrative committee thinks, plus members who weren't able to make it today.
Sure.
You know, we can solicit their input. Perhaps they have some ideas. And then once we hear back from everyone, we kind of can develop a specific strategy. You know, if you need us to kind of write an introduction to this and say, you know, here's why we're doing what we're doing, I'm happy to do that. If you want to use maybe something else, some other kind of format you've used in the past for announcements, we can do that. Again, we're flexible on how exactly we get this. It's just a matter of finding, you know, what we think is going to work best to get at least some response rate. One thing that is also going to be a little tricky is, you know, with this going out pretty soon, we are kind of running into the holiday time period. So, you know, people travel, you know, they might not be quite as likely to look at something that just comes in the bill. They might just be like, okay, I got to pay the bill. I got to get this out, you know. Oh, what's this? This is like an ad. I'll look at it later, and then, you know, you never come back to it. So, you know, this may be something that we hold this survey open for a couple months into January when things slow down a little bit. We try to do some advertising then to check and see if we can, you know, get people to participate then. So there are a few different strategies we can use, but again, it sounds like maybe we'll go ahead and discuss that via an email string with our stakeholders after this meeting, and we can get some direction there, and then I will be in touch with you guys about how best to proceed and what we need to do as APC to facilitate this for you guys.
Okay, very good. I know the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce reaches out to a lot of people, so that might be something that I mentioned when we get that started.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron. Another potential source, you know, could be if there are any institutions that have a lot of the farming community. I don't know if there are any sorts of organizations up here that are heavily involved with the agricultural community, but if there are, you know, that's another potential source we could reach out to. All right, very good. So anything else on this, or are we ready to move on to the 18-month waiting list? Good. Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and move us on to the 18-month waiting list. So a lot of the waiting list, which was included in the packet, is the same as it has been. There's nothing really too remarkable about this. So there were no projects that were let, so we don't have anything to report there. We do have a couple projects that popped onto the list. So if you look at the back page, you will see 3 new projects at the very bottom. 2 on State Road 18, 1 on State Road 218. And it looks like we have some small structure work, an HMA overlay, and a bridge substructure repair and rehab. So those projects are in the pipeline now. Other than that, most of the rest of this stuff has been on the waiting list for a while, and there weren't really any changes to that, according to the information we were able to get from INDOT's database. So it looks like things are proceeding as we expect. Any questions on that?
Just the one for US 421, Wildcat Creek Bridge replacement. Are they doing that before, or then you might not know this, are they doing it before they do the HMA project from here to Rossville, or that, how are they gonna work that?
You're talking about the project that lets in September of 2022, down at the bottom of the first page?
Yes. Well, no, the bridge replacement is, let's see, let's
Second from the bottom on the first sheet.
Yeah, 9/14/22.
Right.
I don't see where the North Street.
This is letting next in May, so this will be done before the replacement.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. All right, well, that's all that I had on that item, unless there were any other questions that we missed.
In terms of public comments, I don't see any on Facebook or YouTube. We could point out next year's schedule.
Yeah, so just wanted to call your attention to the item on the second page of the agenda, which has meeting dates for next year. So our first meeting will be February 8th. And at that meeting, we will be discussing the proposed locations for the Carroll County Count Program, the traffic count program. So we will be sending something out to this committee in advance of that for your review. And then at that meeting, we can discuss any additions and deletions you want to make from the program. Other than that, the next meetings will be then on May 10th, August 9th, and November 8th. Are there any other comments or questions or anything that this committee would like to bring up to discuss?
Nope.
Yes, maybe I can mention, is it convenient if we send you like a Outlook calendar invite for those meeting dates and times?
Yeah.
We just get schedule them ahead of time in everyone's calendars. We can send it out then.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll
It's
see if we
nice to
can
have that ahead of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Diana Trader from our office, who kind of handles the packet distribution, to go ahead and send that out to you guys.
Yeah, like I say at the end of every meeting, and I don't mean to sound like I'm just repeating it for just to talk, but you guys do a great job, and truthfully, I know he
We
does.
appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you guys know what we deal with here, you know, we're short manpower and all that, but you guys helping us through, our shortage is great, so it's nice to have you guys on board with this.
we're glad to help.
That's all I got.
All right, well, with that, I think we can probably adjourn.
Sure.
You don't have to take a vote since it's not an official meeting.
Okay.
It's true.
I move in second.
Very good.
Quickest meeting all day.